and welcome to Talking Honey, where we look at life's sticky situations and give them a stir. I'm your host, Shelley Horton, and with me are 2GB Breakfast host, Ben Fordham, 9 Honey columnist, Maria Thattil.
Hello.
And relationship expert, John Aiken.
Hey, Shelley.
Welcome.
Yeah, can't wait to get into this one.
Now, one of our favourite things to do on Talking Honey is to solve viewer problems. We're basically a panel of wannabe agony aunts. Agreed?
Agreed.
Agreed.
For once.
Agreed.
Jude emailed us and said, my in-laws are ruining my marriage. My mother-in-law comes over and criticises my cooking, and my father-in-law criticises me for working, saying I should stay at home and raise the kids. My husband just laughs and laps it up, and I'm left in tears. What should I do? John, you are our relationship expert, and troubles with the in-laws comes up all the time on Married at First Sight. What's your advice?
Well, the problem here is not the in-laws, it's your husband.
Ooh,
What
fun.
has to happen here is you need to get your husband, sit down with him and say, listen, we're not a team. You need to have my back. We need to create boundaries with these parents, and then we need to enforce them. Every time you laugh, every time you downplay what's going on, you are basically eroding our union. So, get your husband, give him a rocket, hold his feet to the fire and tell him to shape up.
Whoa.
It's time to stop being a mummy's boy.
Oh.
that is like end segment.
John came in
Amazing.
hot. Came in
Ben,
hot.
do you agree?
Well, as a mummy's boy, I find that all very rather personal. And hello to the big kahuna, my lovely mother, if you're watching at the moment. But look, I find that very hard to fault. I think that that's the problem. That's the issue, is the idea of old mate laughing along. We don't know what Jude's husband's name is, but we'll just call him old mate for the sake of
Old
this
mate.
conversation.
Nice.
But that's something that should have been sorted out a long time ago. And I just don't think you can go on in that situation where you're having other people critique you as a spouse and you're having the husband laugh along. It's different. If he was supportive of you, it would be completely different, because then it would be like, OK, how do we handle this? Is it a confrontation? Is it a generational difference? Is it something where, look, we don't really care about it too much, we can move on, but that's if you're together as a team. So I think on this one,
Wow.
John may have just got it right. But we've got someone here who's an expert in psychology, Maria.
Oh, aren't we?
Both together.
Yeah.
There's two of us.
Yeah, but
I mean, look,
we're leaning on you here, Maria.
you
Can
know what? You're going to add a little bit of spice, but I tend to agree. I just think it's a respect thing, and it's about having healthy boundaries. You know, your family members and not having them be overbearing. I come from a South Asian family. It takes a village. Everybody has an opinion on everything. And I tend to be the one who's like a little bit disruptive in that. I don't like that. And I think it's important to break those cycles of maybe like toxic behaviours and practices. So I think have your boundaries, get the rocket, hold the feet to the fire. I'm all in with John and Ben. We're in agreement.
What?
Well, look-
hang on.
What's going on?
Let me jump in.
OK, here we go. This is good.
I'm going to say that I absolutely hit the jackpot
Yes.
with my in-laws from this marriage. The in-laws from the first marriage, not so much. However,
Have we got enough time for this?
yeah,
Shelley?
that's a whole nother segment. What I do want to say, though, is I also respect my husband, Darren, that I love spending time with my family, but they are a lot.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? A lot of me's, like a lot. So it's kind of a 3-day rule, you know, like fish goes off after 3 days. I don't ever ask him to spend more than 3 days with my family. What happens is, now this is kind of exposing him, but we say he's got a work job. So after 3 days he goes and I stay an extra 3 or 4 days because I love it. But don't put them in the situation where they're going to have to deal with the in-laws that are overbearing or too much. What do you think of that?
Well, I mean, look,
that a
it's not bad,
solution?
but ultimately, if this husband of hers is not going to stand up and is not going to change, then unfortunately she's going to have to suck it up and get used to it, because it's always going to be this way. So he's either got to get in line or she's got to embrace it and go, this is life for me moving forward.
Because 3 days or 3 weeks, you're going to see that behaviour manifesting, because it's the time you're spending with them isn't the issue. It's your husband not having your back.
I don't know whether this is something, and you guys are the experts, but I've advised in my unofficial capacity as an untrained psychologist, when I have younger
kind.
blokes that I kind of give advice to and whatever,
You mentor.
and I mentor them, and when they've met a girl and things are progressing and whatever, I do ask about her parents. because I have quit relationships in the past because I could not see myself with her mother and father on Christmas Day, let alone every other day of the year, where I had a real issue with one of them. And it wasn't anything that was just a taste thing. It was something that was, you know, deep to my core, that it was a value thing.
Yes.
And then when I met Jodie's parents, I was almost waiting for, okay, let's wait there. What's the issue going to be? And then I met Ross and Lorraine and I walked away. And Jodie hates me saying this, but I go, your mum and dad sealed the deal. Because I walked away and I was like, you know what? I fell in love with Jodie and I thought I want to spend the rest of my life with her. But I was like, I'd been tripped up before by this.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, where I felt like there was something wasn't quite right there. And I want to be able to hang out for 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. So much so that Jodie's mum has just bought a house around the corner from us.
No.
And I found the house.
Too much.
No,
Shelley's
Shelley,
like, I'm not into
I
it.
found the house. So I saw this sign saying open for inspection. I was with my son Freddie and I said, let's go and have a look. And then I walked in there and Lorraine lost her husband Ross in the last year or two. So I went, you know what? I'd love her to be closer to us. I love spending time with her. Imagine if she was living right around the corner. Now, there was a house next door that was for sale as well, and I showed both to Lorraine. She wisely went, next door, a little bit too close.
Yeah.
I'll go around the corner. She's now moved in. And
Is she
Lorraine,
also now free-
I'm so lucky to have you in my
Free
life.
babysitter.
I wasn't even How dare you?
He's throwing the pillow. He's throwing the...
We've had a storm off.
We've
had
got
a storm off.
We've had a storm off.
All right, with the toddler that's gone
it's
over there,
just-
can I ask, put you on the spot?
Yes.
Because I can't put Ben on the spot.
Yes.
It's gone.
What about, is there some responsibility to stand up for yourself? So if this father-in-law is saying you shouldn't be at work and you should be looking after the kids, should you be able to stand up for yourself?
Well, absolutely you should, yeah. I mean, I think you've got to be able to be yourself, you know, around the in-laws and be authentic. But I do think that you, like Ben said, you will have a choice to make moving forward. If you meet them, fall in love, and you know that you've got an issue with the in-laws and your partner doesn't have your back, do not walk down the aisle until you've got that sorted out, because that can often lead to a relationship breakdown when you're essentially becoming a distant priority to the in-laws.
And do not walk back on my set after just storming out.
He tried to come in.
Sitting.
Look at
Tail
that.
between his legs.
Anyway, I better get home and pick the kids up.
Well, Jude, I hope that helps you, and I hope that your hubby learns from what John said and that you need to be a team. You can see more segments like this at 9honey.com.au, or if you have a question for the panel, email us 9honey@9.com.au.